Hey, good to see you, man. I got a chance to see you in Seattle, and I did want to ask you. We didn't get a chance to talk too much about it, but look, this Netflix documentary, everyone keeps bringing it up to me. Like, hey, do you think this is legit, like real, like, or is anything off limits, right? And it just debuted the other day. Everyone's talking about it. Have you had a chance to watch it at all?
I've watched some clips here and there. I haven't really. I might have watched the first episode, just kind of sped through to kind of see what it was about. Obviously, I lived it, so I'm not sure if I'm going to finish it. But yeah, to your point, I mean, it's full access. They had us mic'd up in the clubhouse, on the field, everywhere. So, but obviously, you had your choice if you wanted to be on it a lot or a little. So,
Well, how did that work? So you could like was it a situation where you opted in to have a microphone on, like part-time, full-time? How'd that work?
yeah, I mean, if they asked you, if they wanted to put a mic on you, you had the option of saying yes or no.
Was
So,
that like just like on the day, or was that like in the beginning where guys like, yeah, I'll do this, and then like 2 months in, they're like, oh man, this is a mistake?
yeah, I think there's a few that happened to. To be honest with you, I mean, you've played this game. This game's hard enough. I opted out from the beginning. I think I gave them a little bit there towards the end so they could get a view of the bullpen, and then I was out from there. I wanted to focus on trying to win games.
Did you know this? Like, at what point in the off season did they let you guys know that Netflix was going to be in the clubhouse and
Yeah.
in the dugout and everywhere?
They told us at the end of the year last year.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, they brought it up, and we're getting guys' opinions, and yeah, we knew through the off season that this was going to happen, and I guess you could prepare for it.
Yeah. Did it? I got a question in regards to guys like, joining the team. Do you think it affected, like, was there any like situation where a free agent was like, nah, you know what? I can't deal with that this year. Like, do you think it affected their chance of like with free agency or anything like that? Or no?
I don't know. That's hard. The show didn't come out until all that was over with. So
Yeah, right.
I'm not sure if guys' minds went to that or not, but I can tell you, I can speak for myself. I just, I didn't want to be. Obviously, there was mics everywhere, so it wasn't fully genuine because we did know, and there was times where there would be a mic that would pop up over you, and it was kind of hard to have a genuine conversation when you have a mic and your camera in your face. So,
Right.
but I think they try to capture it the best that they could. The guys that were willing to do it.
Like, in other words, like sitting around the clubhouse, talking to your buddies, there's certain things that you're like, you know what, like any other time, I mean, this is your 10th year in the big leagues, 9 other years, including now, you would sit there and have that conversation. But the fact that you got a giant big boom mic over the top of you, that was basically, yeah, you know what, this conversation is going to be totally different.
Yeah, there was a lot of times, the cameras were around, you'd go the other direction.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think they could have done without the mics in the clubhouse, but I guess, talking to you, and you thought that was pretty cool to see the inside of all that. So I can't speak for everybody, and the people who were watching, hopefully they enjoyed it and got a little more understanding of what goes on.
Well, dude, there's a scene in the first episode, and I'm sure you've seen it because you actually brought it up when I saw you in Seattle, where you guys get in a brawl, man, like everyone's out on the field. And there it is, like they just showed snippets of it. I haven't watched the whole show just yet. But, I mean, you can clearly hear you, making, comments to the other team.
Yeah.
Was that – so basically bench is clear, and you've got dudes with, like, mics and cameras running right in the thick of it.
Oh, yeah. Big boom mic, cameras. They're getting all of it. Yeah, I was caught saying some things. Causes a little stir with my family, but, I mean, that's what really happened, and I hope people enjoyed the realist of it, I guess.
So you're saying you had family members hitting you up after, like, some of those scenes?
Yeah, my wife wasn't super thrilled about the words that came out of my mouth, so. But
I kind of get that, man, because like, if it's going to get that raw, especially when I mean, I never thought about that. Like my wife did, like if it's not like she's going to have like a HD camera 3 feet away when you're about to when you're in the heat of that moment and all in, like bench is clear, and all of a sudden you're yelling across the other side of the field. That makes a lot of sense when you think about it.
I mean, it's all everything you've played, so you understand the adrenaline and the competition mode, and sometimes you're not thinking clearly in the moment, and things happen, and so I mean, it's something that I got to live with now.
Hey, there was a lot of Tristan Casas and Jaron Duran. Did they like from the onset? They're both both characters. Like Jaron Duran seemed quiet to me until I watched this show, and Tristan Casas, I'd heard about him laying out, sunbaking on the first day he was in the big leagues and everything else. Was it something from the onset where like Netflix, when spring training, sort of pinpointed dudes and did they have to ask them, hey, look, we're going to get you off the field. We want to really profile you? Or is that something that just kind of developed and then by the end of it, they're like, yeah, these two are the guys who we really should focus on?
Yeah, I think obviously they got great, to each of their own. They have different stories, and yeah, they were respectful. They asked if you wanted to do more or less, and they were respectful through the situation. I was pretty upfront that I didn't want to be featured on it. So, and
Right.
they didn't feature me, so they kind of they respected, kind of what I wanted.
Did you feel like there's a scene in the first episode, if you've seen it, they're in Seattle and they're basically talking about, JP Crawford can't hit pitches inside. Julio can't hit anything unless it's down the middle. Now, I get that. Andrew Bailey, he's trying to fire his pitcher up, dude. Like, I don't want my pitching coach, because I had some people say, oh, I can't believe they said this about JP. Or I'm like, dude, you understand, like going into a game, you don't want your friggin' pitching coach telling you, oh, hey, look out for this. No. You want him to get that confidence up. But was there any ever moments for you, like and I know you weren't mic'd up, but a situation where you're having, let's say, a team meeting or you're working with a coach, the camera's right there. It's just like, okay, enough, man. Or any of your teammates, especially when you're talking August, September, where your teammates are just like, hey, listen, no. Like we need you just to step aside here because this is like a pretty intense time, or someone could be struggling, or whatever it could be like that.
Yeah, like I said, they weren't on me as much, but I, I can't speak for everyone else. But I'm sure, I'm sure that they probably pushed their boundaries as far as they could.
Did Alex Cora, like before the season, like were they there day one of spring training?
Day one.
Day one. Did Alex Cora like address the team without the camera, saying, "Hey, listen, like this is how it is. Put your hand up if you feel like, you oppose this or anything like that"? Like, did he address the team without the cameras there?
Yeah, they kind of did that at the end of the year before the
Okay.
Netflix.
Oh, gotcha. No
Um,
way. Like,
yeah,
like in regards to what? Like what was?
just asking guys' opinions. The Netflix director was there,
Okay.
and we got to ask him questions and kind
Right.
of get an idea of what was going to happen.
Gotcha. I mean, because Netflix had complete control, right, in regards to like
That's what
everything they showed.
that's what I was told. Yeah,
Yeah, gotcha.
they
Okay.
had editing right.
Yeah, I
Nobody else.
gotcha. Well, look, man. It was good for me. Like, I had two thoughts about it. I said this to you the other day, because I know you really well, man, and we go way back before your time in the big leagues, um, and especially before you've had all the success now in the big leagues, and obviously pitching in some big spots. But two things. Number one, it was good for me because it just took me back to like all those stressful times and the good times and all that. It was nice.
Right.
But two, I'm like, every time you like popped up on the screen, I'm like, how's Marty dealing with this right now? You know what I
Oh,
mean? So yeah. I mean, it's one thing to like profile a player on a documentary on, because by the way, I mean, Netflix should do a documentary just on your story alone, dude. Tell us, man. You've probably told this story 1,000 times in the last 10 years, but fill in everyone who's listening. Talk us through. You get done playing college ball, have some injuries, independent ball. I'm trying to summarize here. Then you get a chance to play pro ball, but talk us through. Give us the real story behind that.
yeah, the Cliff Notes version. Um, yeah, 2005, I think it was, in junior college. I tore my labrum, and it was a 2004 season. 2005, tore my labrum, lost the red shirt when I was in junior college, and then ended up hanging it up. I was trying to get some hours to go to either UT or Oklahoma, didn't get the hours, so I ended up spending from '05 to 2010, just trying to make ends meet, just doing the normal life stuff. And then 2010, I was actually in the warehouse playing catch with my boss, and uh, my boss was like, "Man, you're still bringing it pretty good." And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, but my arm's gonna kill me tomorrow."
Was he a former player?
We went to high school together.
Oh, no way. Okay, so you, and again, it says, in the story goes, you're stocking shelves and doing the whole bit, and your boss
That's
like,
all
hey,
true.
let's play catch. So you guys knew each other pretty well, so you could just let it eat with him.
Yeah, and he's like, "Man, you're still throwing hard. You think you can still do it?" And I'm like, "Man, my arm will hurt tomorrow. I won't be able to pick it up." And I remember waking up, didn't think anything of it. And I'm like, "Wow, my arm doesn't really hurt today." And coincidence or not, I guess, a friend of mine called me and wanted to play in a men's league. And first time I've played baseball, I've played slow pitch softball to this point, but first time I played a baseball game, I went out and pitched. I think I struck out 3 guys in 9 pitches. Arm
Nice.
was not feeling great. The job I was working wasn't the best, so ended up trying to like find out a way to get back into it. I was calling friends thinking they could get me a tryout, being naive and not understanding how it worked.
Right.
And I think I called a guy. He sent me to independent ball, like South Texas. They didn't call me back. And then 2 weeks goes by, a few weeks go by or whatever, and he calls me and said the team he was with is having open tryouts, and that's like 10 minutes from my house. So I drove in. I went to the line. There's a line for the tryout, and the lady said, "You need $50 to get in," and I didn't have $50.
No
And
way.
I told her the guy's name, Luke Prahota, and she goes, "Oh yeah, I know Luke well," and she just let me go in. Once I got in, there was like 150 guys out there. I'm wearing shorts. I got a pair of cleats from Ross, and standing in the outfield talking to guys, super intimidated. Ex professional baseball players.
Yeah.
So I ended up throwing my bullpen for the tryout, and Pete Incaviglia is the manager. Pulls me to the dugout and was like, first thing he asked me if I was in prison, like where have I been? And I told him my story, how we're talking right now, and he's like, "You're throwing 96 miles an hour, in your bullpen."
Wow.
And I was like, I didn't hit 96 in high school or in college, so you
Wow,
know,
dude.
ended up going up. He goes, "Well, you're on the team if you want to play tonight," and ended up going up to the clubhouse, getting a jersey, and I saved the game that night. So
You're
uh,
kidding.
that
Hey,
was
so you said you'd never thrown 96 before. So
no,
were you like, did you like have prep leading into that? Like, did you work out or anything?
no, I didn't
Really?
do anything.
Just rolled out of the warehouse straight into it.
Straight into it.
Unbelievable.
I didn't. The tryout came up, and I just had to go do it. I didn't no long toss, no. I was like I said, I played a little bit of slow pitch softball here and there, and that was about it.
That's unbelievable, dude. And oh man. And by the way, too, like, so this was what, 2010?
Yeah, 2010, and then I ended up going back to work after the independent ball league. And
Nice.
about 2 weeks before spring training of the Red Sox, they called me and wanted me to come out and try out in Fort Myers, and ended up having to pay my own flight to do the
How
tryout.
did they just see you from indie ball, or did was there someone who said, "Hey man, this kid's a stud"?
Pete Incaviglia
Okay.
called him.
Wow.
Yeah,
And dude, by the way, so this is like we're talking 2010. I saw you in 2013. We're in AAA together, and even at that point, man, like you were killing it, but you hadn't pitched in the big leagues yet. You know?
no, no, no. I think I got traded the
Yeah.
year after that.
Yeah, and then I remember seeing you in spring training. Like, hey, I got this opportunity to go play in Japan.
Yeah, that
Um,
was in winter ball at the end of 13.
that's right. And I was like, hey man, like, what was my advice? Maybe I was like, yeah, go, dude, because it's hard
Yeah,
to get to the big leagues.
I tried to go. They wouldn't release my rights, and then I think that was in November in winter ball, and then they traded me in December.
Wow, dude. Unbelievable, man. And 10 year this is your 10th year in the big leagues. It's unreal, dude. Unbelievable. All right, man. Hey, listen, I want to get a couple thoughts real quick. You were the Texas Rangers in the AL West. What's your take on this division, man, in regards to What's the biggest threat, the Houston Astros or the Seattle Mariners?
The biggest throw. I mean, obviously, we haven't faced Houston yet. They swept Houston, or Seattle just swept us. So obviously, we got to do a better job against them. So.
But who do you think? Like, if you had with the when you just got done with that Mariners series, what's your take on the Mariners? Like, how would you profile them as a team?
Yeah, obviously you got very good pitching. Um, um, they hit some homers off of us and put some runs on the board. They don't need a lot of runs to beat you, so I think their pitching is very good.
When you look at the Texas Rangers, you had spring training with them. You pitched against them last couple of years. Like, what are some things you see from the Texas Rangers? What are the biggest strengths from the Rangers, from your point of view, looking at your team when we're talking about the AL West?
Yeah, obviously the offense, the lineup 1 through 9 is very good. Obviously, haven't quite got going here early on in the year, but a lot of veteran guys. They understand, how to prepare and get ready every single day, and it's not, they understand that things like this happen, slow starts and stuff. So I don't think anybody's worried. And play good defense, man. Like, that's huge. We're gonna score runs. Starting pitching's been awesome. Bullpen's been, good. So hopefully we just keep on going.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, listen, dude, you're about to get ready for a game, but I appreciate your insight, man, and on the Netflix stuff too, and your honesty with everything that went down last year with the Red Sox. I'm looking forward to watching you getting more brawls as the show goes on, and upsetting your wife, dude. Chris Martin, I really appreciate it, buddy.
All right, man. Thank you.